Hi, this is Kevin Deal from Upscale Audio, and today we're going to talk about the brand new Fyne F502S. They say I can use this other camera over here. Oh my God, I am so excited to have this camera. They said, look at this to drive it home. This speaker sounds unbelievable. Now I'll move back here, I guess. This is a really big deal because this is a Fyne Audio loudspeaker that is built to the highest standards. I mean, highest standards, and sounds amazing in the $3,000 price range. And that's not each, that is for a pair. Why do I love Fyne Audio so much? All right, I'm going to tell you. There is a lot to love. The founders of Fyne Audio were all the top management from Tannoy Residential. You got NJ Sosna, you got Max was with them, you got Dr. Paul Mills, their chief acoustic designer, and now his son Paul Jr. is working with him. I mean, these are the hot shots. These are the people who are the masters at designing point source loudspeakers. Now, what they are calling it is they trademarked the name IsoFlare. This is not some kind of a private equity thing where they're getting into high-end audio. Man, this is people that are driven by passion, creating new designs and patents that I've never, ever seen before. Before we talk, I want to talk to you about isotropic and what isotropic radiation means and how that can help you to improve sound, but also to enjoy it from other seats in your listening room for those of you that wander around. A common limitation with traditional speaker designs is that as you go up in frequency from bass to highs, the dispersion narrows. I'm going to show you a graph right now, and on the top it's going to be a traditional speaker, and you're going to notice that dispersion narrows between 1,000 hertz and 5,000 hertz, but then it starts to really get narrow up towards 10,000 hertz, and everybody out there has heard this before. Everybody knows what I'm talking about when they mention, oh, I had to have my head in a vise, to some degree or greater or lesser degree. Let's put it that way. Now, I want you to look at the lower graph, which is IsoFlare. And you're going to notice immediately that when you are off axis, you can still hear the other speaker. And that's because the high frequency driver is mounted way back into the throat of the speaker, and then it's fed out through something that is called a phase correction plug. Then it follows the cone of the loudspeaker, and it makes Fyne's IsoFlare a speaker. I gotta tell you something, man, it makes it so easy to position, so easy, and it makes it work in even the crappiest rooms. But more important is this: it improves critical phase coherence. And phase distortion is something that is going to mess with your head. I want you to imagine for a second dropping two pebbles into a still lake. And each one of those, they represent a tweeter and a woofer. And think about the chaotic relationship that would occur between those two things that you drop in the water. Okay? And it's going to be the same thing with the tweeter and a woofer where the sound collides out in the air. Now I want you to imagine dropping just a single stone into the water. The ripples are going to flow out evenly and perfectly and in harmony. And thanks to IsoFlare's unique isotropic radiation pattern, the dispersion remains consistent even at wide angles. Both the direct and sound reflecting off of your walls stay harmonically faithful, and that really helps to enrich the sound and make it much more pleasant to listen to. I mean, God, like hell yeah. Oh, good. This is, I want to show you something. This, I had to see this. This is the stunning F502S 8-inch driver. And I want you to check this out. It's a die-cast basket. I want you to look at how it's die-cast, and it's what they call diamond cut. I saw a competing brand of another speaker that some people wanted us to carry. And I said, okay, let me see what's going on inside. And literally, it had a plastic basket on a speaker that was $4,000, right? The mid-range of this speaker has a ferrite magnet, and then on the back, you have a neodymium magnet. And I want you to take a close look because I managed to get an animation of this speaker being assembled because there are so many parts in building a driver like this. It is hard to engineer compared to just a regular woofer or a tweeter, and that's why so few companies will even attempt to master this. It's coupled with an 8-inch bass driver, and this operates boom. And this operates at 250 hertz on down, and both drivers have their proprietary coated paper cone. That's something that Dr. Mills came up with because they wanted something that would sound like paper because it's so natural, but they wanted it to be just a little bit stiffer. And they did not want to make it sound like plastic, and they certainly didn't want it to sound like aluminum. You're going to see a suspension here, and it's called Fyne Flute. The purpose of Fyne Flute is to terminate energy that can reflect back into the cone when you're listening to music. When everything is moving, you can have resonances come back in here and cause coloration. And Fyne Flute will disrupt those reflections and help keep things sounding clean, whether it's the bass or the mids. But it's still really, really fast. The crossover is top notch. It's got polypropylene capacitors. It's got low loss inductors. On the rear, you're going to see you've got a set of really nice bi-wire binding posts. And there's a 3-position switch on the back for the, what they call a presence control. So you can get a little bit more or a little bit less midband should you choose to do so. And I think that's kind of important for the kind of music I listen to, because sometimes I get into this glam rock 70s stuff, and some of that stuff is like, wow, man, way too up front. The cabinets are off the hook. Excuse me. This is this cabinet is a real walnut veneer, and they come in matched pairs, book matched veneer. It's unbelievable. And then the speaker weighs 62.8 pounds. Now that's going to be about 50% heavier than most of the best that I could find out there. But I'd have to say about half the speakers in this price category are going to weigh maybe half of what this speaker weighs. And in fact, they sent me a graphic of this cabinet, which I'm going to show you right now. But instead, I actually took it apart for you. So I pulled the drivers out, and I want to show you something. There's 3 sets of braces in here. 2 of them are behind the drivers, and they help to support the drivers to help to control resonances, again, from the drivers. And then the 3rd one is for the bass sub-enclosure. And at the bottom, you have where the sub-enclosure vents out of the speaker, and that is something that they call BassTrax. BassTrax is a patented design. I know a lot of people out there, they say, okay, I got to put it kind of close to the wall so I can't have rear ports. Or, no, now that I got front ports, I don't have enough bass because I just don't have enough bass because it's front ported. Or they end up having boomy bass or room boundary problems, all of that crap. This gets rid of that problem because down on the bottom here, there's a specially engineered diffuser. This isn't happenstance. That's why there's a patent on it. And it allows the energy to radiate evenly out of the cabinet in all directions. Bass becomes less dependent on room shapes or placement, and that means you get a clearer bass. It's got much better low frequencies. It's a lot tighter. Whether it's close to the wall or in a corner or out in open space, it's going to help to make your life easier. Especially, I got to mention, if you have shag carpet and you're thinking about a speaker that vents out of the bottom, that problem is gone because you have a built-in stand, right? You don't have to worry about that anymore. How cool is that? They're 91 dB efficient, and they have a very benign impedance. So we hooked them up to I mean, they're really easy to drive. We ran them with a Prima Luna Evo 200 integrated amp, tube integrated amp, under 40 watts per channel, and it was just blowing my mind. The bass is so tight, and the top end is just so perfect. It is more perfect. This is so much better than I could have even hoped for. I could have ever hoped for. And then in the mid-range, because that's where I live, man. I love vocals. And I was listening to Bob Dylan do Man in the Long Black Coat. And it's from an album that's called Oh Mercy. And if you don't know it, I hope you check it out. And the depth of his voice, the chest, without being congested, it was like so impressive. And then we turned on some Stevie Ray Vaughan, Tim Panelli, and we were just rocking it. I don't care what you play, this speaker can absolutely master it. I mean, we could not trip it up. And because of IsoFlare, I mean, me and Ken were in the sound room. I mean, I'm not kidding. We had them set up in about 10 minutes instead of 10, I mean, literally, it can take hours. It was just so easy. There's 4 other models in this line. There's the 501S, which is a 6-inch, 2-way, smaller cabinet, but it's got the balls of an 8-inch. And I mean, I have no idea how they did it. Then there's a couple of bookshelves that I don't have here yet. There's going to be a center channel. And what do you mean I don't know how they did it? Right? I mean, that's baloney. I mean, I know how they did it. They have real engineers, and they are caring enough to build a product. In a day and age when I feel that people are becoming more selfish sometimes, and they want to grab a buck, and these people are just not like that. And that's another reason I really dig this. So look. Come to our beautiful 10,000 square foot store. Talk to one of my non-commissioned salespeople. Your purchase is not going to be affected by what they're trying to stuff in their pocket and try to make a buck. And, you know, that's why we always say, oh, wait, the grills. Magnetic on the front, on the back. How cool is that? At Upscale Audio, we're going to treat your system like it's ours. Thanks.